Hump Day. I haven't said that in a while, man. I used to say that all the time for my midweek readings. For those of y'all who've been following me for a while, you probably remember that. I used to say that because I used to do 3 all sign readings, weekly forecast, hump day, and weekend. I used to do that. I don't remember why I stopped doing the hump day. I used to do it on Wednesday. I don't remember why I quit doing that. I don't remember. Anyway, though. Good morning, everybody. As you can clearly see, I don't really have much of a set schedule for this anymore. Not really. I just kind of come on when I feel like it. And I got this timed out so that when I'm on here for an hour, it'll be time to wake everybody up. Got parent-teacher conferences this morning with the kiddos at school. That's going to be fun. I already know. I told you, one of my kiddos, I already know. I got a problem child. We've talked about that before. You know, my youngest, she's a little problem child, just like me. I have a hard time being mad about it, though, man. I have a really hard time with it. Because it's like there's a part of me that knows, like deep in my soul, that it's not actually a problem. Not really. What's going on is that her frequency can't be lowered, basically. You can't force her to lower her frequency down into the 3D system and force her to comply with this 3D system and the 3D paradigm. She just cannot be. You cannot, you know? And she's even harder to control than I was. You could scare me when I was a kid. You could scare the shit out of me. You can't even scare her. She has no fear. You can't even scare her. It doesn't work. So there's an internal battle in me that it's really difficult to be mad about it. You know, really difficult because I know what's going on, you know? So anyway, what are y'all up to? That's what my morning's going to consist of. What are y'all up to? Anything fun? We got a few of you up in here. We got Enchanted Cottage. You were the first one in here, weren't you? Double Gemini too. Right on. She's a double Gemini, man. That's for sure. I got to figure out. I think I need to do more studies on the Gemini sign, you know. Because like I've said before, of the entire zodiac, that's the last one that I'm still having struggles with. Like, just that energy in general. I seem to be struggling with it. Struggling to really comprehend how it works. Struggling to comprehend how to utilize that kind of energy, you know? Because there's been a handful of them. And I think we all have our own handful. Every last one of us has our own handful of signs that we struggle with the most, you know? As I told you on the last chat, my very first one was Cancer. That was the first sign I struggled with badly. Not so bad anymore. I've come to peace with that energy and whatnot. But now, man, Gemini is that one. I just seem to have issues with everyone that I meet, you know, and I know deep down in my soul that there's something I'm supposed to figure out about it. There's something I'm supposed to understand. There's something that's not quite clicking in there, you know. But yeah, I think I need to figure it out so that I can help my daughter, so I can help her, like help guide her, you know, in a way that, because I don't care what your sign is, I don't care who you are, every energy and every sign can be used and it can be misused, you know, every last one of them, every one of them. And I'd like to be able to guide her in a way to be able to use her energies for the greater good, you know? So anyway, yeah. Yep. Anyway, what's up, y'all? I'm not even all the way awake this morning yet. I just finished my first cup of coffee. Maybe that's got to kick in. Good morning, y'all. What y'all up to? I actually feel like this right here is, I don't know. I've told y'all the way I feel about it. Like my real job, I don't think that my real job has anything to do with flipping cards. That's my earthly job, you know? I always feel like I've done more help. I think I've helped more, and I've whenever I get done on one of these little talks, you know, I think I'm able to provide more useful information, you know? I mean, I think I'll be able to provide more useful information whenever I'm doing this right here. But I don't know. It seems like the last couple of times I've come on here, we've covered some pretty important stuff, you know. But the good thing is, though, like I said, I've been witnessing. I've been witnessing with my eyes an actual, genuine mass awakening. You know, and when I say awakening, me personally, what I'm talking about is an awakening in consciousness, not just an awakening to what's really going on in the world. That's part of it. Not just an awakening, you know, that everything you were ever taught was a lie. That's part of it. But I'm talking about the awakening in consciousness that leads you to finding that out. I've been seeing that, which is a huge weight off my chest, man. Because unlike before, where I just got locked in my own little awakening bubble, you know, before, and I just assumed, I don't know why I assumed this. I don't know what gave me the idea, you know, back over the past 5 years. I just assumed that everybody else was on the same journey as me. I just assumed that, oh, okay, there's no way that I'm the only one that thinks this way. There's no way that I'm the only one that realizes this and knows this. I just assumed that. And then once the clock struck 2020, I was proven wrong. Oh, I was proven wrong. I was proven wrong. I had no idea that the whole population was still in a coma. Was still in a massive coma, you know? And needless to say, that scared the shit out of me. But now, though, I can honestly, genuinely say that I'm witnessing an awakening. Again, an awakening of consciousness. All the other stuff comes along with that. You know, figuring out what's really happening, that comes along with it. You know, understanding that everything that you were ever taught was a lie, that comes along with it. All that stuff is a byproduct of your consciousness awakening, you know? Your consciousness awakening. And to me, I personally feel like the easiest way to awaken that is to teach people, or at least help people understand, the true nature of how energy behaves, and specifically how your energy behaves, you know? Once you understand that, like I said, one of the first things that happens is the TV goes off. It goes off. When you start realizing, oh, whoa, when I think these kind of thoughts, and it leads to these kinds of emotions, and when I feel these kinds of emotions, it leads to these kinds of behaviors and these kinds of decisions. And whenever I, you know, express these kinds of behaviors and make these kinds of decisions, these types of things start happening. Whenever you really start connecting those dots on a quantum level, fuck that TV. Fuck that TV. I don't even want to listen to it. No. Don't want to listen to it. I don't know about you, but a lot of you might even turn the music off too. That's one thing I did. I turned the fucking music off. I turned it off, man. Turned it off. How many people do you know out there who listen to music for one reason and one reason only? Because it feeds their low frequency emotional addiction, you know? A lot of people. I'm not saying everybody that listens to music, but I'm saying a lot of people. Oh, I can count on 5 hands how many people I know that they listen to music. I was just telling, me and Leah were talking about this yesterday. I was like, I can't really wrap my mind around those people that go around with earbuds on everywhere they go listening to music. I can't comprehend that. I am a musician, you all know that. But I don't really listen to music. I really don't. People ask me all the time, what kind of music do you listen to? I don't. I don't listen to music. I don't. I turned the music off along with the TV years ago. And one of the things that I've noticed when writing songs, I have to relive, in order for me to write a good song, I always find myself having to relive a really low frequency. And I have to keep repeating that same low frequency. And it works. It works. But I don't like that. I don't like having to relive and repeat and relive and repeat. And it gets to the point to where I got a whole song. The shortest I've ever written an entire song is a month. You know, that's if I'm just throwing one together real fast. But 2 or 3 months sometimes it's gone along as 6 months, you know, but 2 or 3 months to throw. And then by the time I'm done with the damn thing, I've relived and repeated that low frequency so many times in my head that I don't even want to hear it again. So I pick my guitar up to play that song and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to talk. Not this again. Not this. And then I'm like 30 seconds into it and I'm already like, oh, shit, is this song almost over? I don't even want to play it. You know what I mean? I don't even want to play it. I don't even want to play that shit. Yeah, so anyway. Hang on, let me grab my lighter. I'm going to get some sage going. No particular reason. No particular reason. I'm not feeling any low frequencies in the room or anything like that, but I just kind of want to get some sage vibes in the air, just because I like the smell. I just like the smell of it. Just a little bit. I love that smell. I don't know about y'all. I love it. Okie dokie. Anyway, explain the low vibration in music? Explain it? I didn't know that was something that needed explaining. I think it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Well, what I'm talking about, and I don't think there's one blanket statement you can put over all music, but the one that I use, codependency is a big thing that gets promoted in a lot of music. It's just an example. Just an example. Codependency. You know, how many songs have you heard? How many songs have you heard that are about nothing but, and I'm not saying there's none out there, there are, but how many in relation to the opposing end of the spectrum? How many songs have you heard that are about nothing but happiness and having a good time and being happy and this and that? A few. I'm not saying there's none out there. There's a few. But in comparison to how many songs are there out there about being sad and being depressed or being angry, or you know what I mean? Those are low frequencies. Now, when I say frequency, I'm not talking about emotion, okay? But they do go hand in hand. That's how one of the easiest ways to identify a low frequency is how it makes you feel emotionally. Okay, the frequencies that create and generate emotions such as anger, bitterness, sadness, loneliness, hostility, hatred, those frequencies that generate those kind of emotions are very, very low and dense. Very, very low and dense. And I don't have actual numbers here, but just from my own perception, this is my opinion. I will tell you what is my opinion and what's not. It feels to me like a good 80 to 90, 95% of the music out there is all created by, and it feeds and reinforces low frequency emotions. Sadness, anger, bitterness, hostility, you know. Again, I'm not saying there are no songs out there about happiness. I know that there are a bunch of them out there, but if you compare the two, I've seen the ratio that I've witnessed in my life, especially as a musician and being raised in a musical family, the ratio that I've noticed is like, let's be generous here. Let's say 20 to 80. 20% happy, good vibe music to 80% low frequency sadness and loneliness. What's that one song, man? Comes on the radio all the time. Fuck, man. Every time I try to think of the song, it always slips my mind until I hear it. Something about being lonely. Shit. Something about I'm lonely. I can be lonely with you or something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Every time I try to talk about this, it always slips my mind, and then I'll hear it on the radio that day. Something about I see that you're lonely. I can be lonely with you, or something to that effect. And it's just like, I told this story a million times, but At one time we were cleaning house. Leah's got this big 500-watt fucking Bluetooth speaker, and she'll crank that damn thing on whenever we're cleaning house just to get the music, bumping through the house. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's whatever. And then that damn Britney Spears song came on. My loneliness is killing me. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, man. How many times? Think about it. Back in the 90s, I was a preteen. That song came out, I was maybe 10, 11, something like that, And how many preteens and teenagers, especially young preteens and teenage girls, possibly, repeated those lines over and over and over. My loneliness is killing me. And then that's a normal thing, like that's a good thing. Like I've said this a million times, we have been very strategically and deliberately programmed to reverse manifest love, money, and good health. And that's just a tiny little example as to how easy it is to program you to reverse manifest love. It's to pound into your head for decades and decades and decades that being lonely and empty is totally normal, and that you need a lover to make that feeling go away. It's program everybody to think that, and that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what we have out there. We have a bunch of people out there who are lonely and empty, but they have absolutely no idea that whatever frequency they're on, whatever feelings they're casting, they're sending a message directly out there that says nothing to the universe but send me more loneliness and more emptiness. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. And I'm right there with you, dude. I'm speaking from experience. I had to figure this shit out for myself. I had to figure out the true nature of the behavior of energy myself. I'm gonna put chapstick on because I live in the desert. Lips are all dry. I had to figure that shit out for myself and reprogram myself energetically, you know what I mean? So anyway, if that helps, whoever that was that asked me to explain the low frequency of music, if that helps. And not only that, and I'm no expert on this, but the frequencies of music themselves, let's take the lyrics away. The frequencies of music, that was hijacked too. The frequencies, I think the most highest vibrational frequency that there is, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, isn't it 432 hertz? Isn't that what it is? 432? And that was hijacked. And replaced with something incredibly low to keep you just musically. Again, let's take the lyrics away. Musically, whatever. I wish I was more prepared to talk about this because I don't know the exact numbers. But your average frequency in the music today is much, much lower frequency than what it should be, But yeah. That's one of the things that for me, at least, along with my awakening and my path that I've been on, that's one of the things that I've experienced is I've turned the TV off and I've turned the music off, If I jam music, which I'm pretty sure there's usually about half the time there might be a radio on in my car, but a lot of times there's not. There's silence in the car. But if I do have a radio on, it's usually something that you don't really have to think about, techno or something like that. And that may be low frequency too, it very well may. But, if I listen to music, it's something that you don't have to put a whole lot of thought into. Techno or what's that other shit, dubstep, stuff like that. You ain't really got to think about it. It was just somebody sitting at a computer pushing buttons. And that's it. There was no artistic skill that went into it. There was no talent that went into it. Just somebody sitting at a computer pushing buttons and making noise. That's more along the lines of what I'm more apt to listen to. You dig what I'm saying? Anywho. Yeah, Sound of Silence. Yeah, I know that song very well. Oh, I know that song very well. Very well. I posted me playing it on the guitar at one time, remember? I don't know if it's on my Facebook somewhere. If you go to my Facebook page and my videos. And I logged on to one of my old Facebooks. And this was from years and years ago, where I just picked the guitar up and pushed record on my phone and recorded it and then uploaded it to my old ass Facebook. And I gained access to that old Facebook. And I'll go in there and flip around and look at it sometimes. and I found where I was playing The Sound of Silence on the guitar. And I put that on, I think it was on my Instagram. I think it was on my Instagram. I don't know. But anyway, anywho. So, anywho, I am noticing a mass awakening. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm kind of doing the best that I can to remain patient, because what we're going through now in regards to all that is a desperate attempt to keep it silent, and to keep silent all of the people who are awake and aware of, and it's not going to be able to hold it. that silence isn't going to be able to, or the forces that are trying to keep all that silent aren't going to be able to hold it down forever. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the time that awakening wave breaks through the walls, and just to see how that unfolds and what all happens as a result of that. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to watch. I don't know. I'm incredibly calm for the most part and very relaxed. I am. I'm incredibly calm and very, very relaxed. And that's another thing too. Why up to this point, it's very important that you figure out your own energy, because now at a time like this, we can speculate all we want, but I kind of feel like now it's too late. It's pick a side. We've had all this time in the world to float back and forth from one side to the other and hang out in the middle if we want, and then float to this side, and then hang out in the middle, float to this side. I personally feel like it's too late for that. I do. I think it's too late for that. Well, here's what you do. Check this out. And this is another thing about the way the energy behaves. Okay, and remember how I was telling you about the power of your perception? Remember that? Now, take into account, if you go to the car lot and you buy a black Chevy Malibu, within the next week, all you're going to see is Chevy Malibus everywhere. It's all you're going to see. They're going to be the only fucking car on the road. It's all you're going to see. Now, if all you pay attention to and all you focus on and all you feed your energy to is the people who are asleep, that's all you're going to see. You're not going to notice those who are awake. Our brains are too tiny to process all of the information going on at once. Our brains are too tiny. Too tiny. I don't care if you have an IQ of 300. I don't care. Your brain is too tiny to process all of the information happening at once. So you have to use that to your advantage. I have to train my focus. I have to train myself to focus on something with a very clear intention in mind, and using social media algorithms to your advantage will work with that too. There's a lot of people out there, we all kind of get stuck in echo chambers, but there's a lot of people out there that don't even know that. They don't even know that. They just think that their little echo chamber is the only world that exists out there, and it's the only dimension, the only plane of existence, and they don't even have a clue. They just live in their own little echo chamber. But when you know that echo chambers and whatnot like that exist, I'm going to create my own. For a very specific reason, not to stick my head in the sand and ignore what all else is out there, but to reprogram my subconscious mind. Because when you 95% of what you experience is generated by your subconscious mind. 95% of it. 95% of your life experience is generated by your subconscious mind. So I'm going to create my own echo chamber for a very specific reason. To reprogram that subconscious mind. Yep. This is how we shift dimensions. This is how we pull timelines. And people always ask, how do I change the timelines that I'm on? By changing your frequency, by reprogramming your subconscious mind. What is my frequency? What is that thing? Okay, well, let's pretend you're a radio. Let's pretend you're a radio in a car. If you are sitting in a car listening to the radio, speaking of music, let's use music as an example. And you have the radio tuned to 1077 top country hits, and that's just the frequency that it's tuned into. It doesn't matter if you like it, doesn't matter if you want to hear it, doesn't matter. If you don't change that frequency, you're not going to experience anything but country music, and that's it. That's the only experience you're going to have because that's the frequency it's tuned into. Same thing with us. How do I know what my frequency is tuned into? You know how me and other people, I'm not the one that made this up, by the way. You know how people like me will tell you that the universe has no choice but to keep handing you evidence that supports what you believe. And the only thing a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over until you burn it into your subconscious mind and it runs all by itself on autopilot like a computer program. That's your frequency. That's your frequency. That's what you're tuned into. Okay, same thing if you go buy a Chevy Malibu. Now, that's all you're tuned into is that kind of car. So that's all you're going to notice. Okay, I haven't used this example in a while, but if you could imagine this. Me and you are sitting at a house party. Imagine that me and you are at a party. Okay, and we're sitting in the living room. There's all these people around us. There's 20 other conversations going on around us. And there's music thumping. And me and you were sitting here having a conversation. That radio antenna of yours is a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's constantly scanning your surroundings. Scanning your surroundings. You don't even know it. You have no idea it's doing it. And all of the useless information that you have not programmed it to believe is important, it's sweeping it under the rug. It's throwing it all under the rug so that it can only focus on what you have programmed it to believe is important. Through years and years and years of repetitive thought. Okay, anything that doesn't line up with what you have programmed it to believe is important, it sweeps under the rug and it flies right over your head and you don't even realize it's there. So we're sitting at this house party having a conversation. Okay, there's all these other conversations going on around us. There's music thumping. But through all that noise, through the music, through the conversations, somebody says your name and you heard that. That's your radio antenna. That's the thing that we got to reprogram. You have programmed your subconscious mind through years and years and years of repetitive thought to believe that your name is important. So through all that ruckus, through all that noise, in the middle of our conversation, somebody says your name and you heard that. You were tuned into that. That's your frequency. That's your radio antenna. That's the thing that we have to reprogram. That makes sense? That's how you operate just like a radio. That's how you know what frequency you're tuned into. That's why that's what the affirmations do. That's how affirmations really work. They reprogram that thing deep down inside of you. You know, I've told you all this 1,000 times, but like mine, for example, when I wanted to manifest self-employment, I said to myself all day, every day for 20 years, I'm a worthless piece of shit. That's what I said to myself about myself all day, every day. I didn't even realize it. That thing of mine that was scanning my surroundings was looking for things that aligned with me being a worthless piece of shit. And that's all I experienced. That's all I experienced was more things that reflected that I'm a worthless piece of shit. That's all I didn't know. I had no idea that any of this worked this way. I didn't know this. I didn't know. And I started to learn that if I want, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if I want to create a new personal reality, I have to change my personality. I have to reprogram that subconscious thing that operates underneath my conscious awareness. And I had to start telling myself, I am successful. It didn't feel right, and it felt funky and weird and strange. I am successful. I am successful. Took about 6 months. Took about 6 months of me saying that to myself all day, every day, before I kind of started thinking, okay, that doesn't feel so weird to say that anymore. And by the time I started feeling that, I can say that easily. I can feel success. I can picture myself making 100 grand a year, like 200 grand a year, or 500 grand a year, or $1 million a year. I could picture that. That's nothing. About 6 to 8 months before that click happened. That's when that thing underneath of me had started to become successfully programmed. So it was no longer picking up on things that lined up with me being a worthless piece of shit under my conscious awareness. It was no longer doing that. Now, I just use that example because I'm living proof that it works. That's the only reason I use that example. I didn't make any of this up. I had to go search on the internet and search on YouTube and hear my favorite YouTubers and whatnot, and my favorite public figures and my favorite doctors and my favorite neurosurgeons and scientists and all them. I had to hear all them talk about this stuff before I really was like, you know what? I'm gonna play with this shit. I'm gonna see if it works. I mean, long story short, I never could have pictured myself living the life that I live today 5 years ago. Couldn't if you went back in time 5 years ago and told me where I would be in 5 years, I wouldn't have believed you. Nobody else would have either. You know, that's the way it works. And I thought I had a landing point with that, but I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, though, once you start doing that, once you start taking it upon yourself to saying, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna reprogram my frequency. One of the default byproducts of doing that is you become real sensitive and real picky about who you listen to. You know, that's why the TV goes off. Once you really dedicate it, you make a firm decision. I'm programming myself to tune in to different things with the sole intention of having a different life experience. And you make the unequivocal decision to do that, you'll turn the fucking TV off by default. You'll turn it off. Whenever you decide to take conscious control, you will turn that fucking thing off. And like I said, some of you may even turn the music off too. Some of you may start to realize as you're listening to this music, man, that goes against what I'm trying to tell myself. You'll start to feel that discourse, that vibrational clash within you. But no, man, that's low vibe as a motherfucker, man. I ain't trying, no. Flip, turn it off. See what I'm saying? These things happen by default. This is when the blindfold is coming off. This is when the old program is being rewritten. The old program is being unwired and a new program is being rewritten. All these things happen by default. And all the other people who are still walking around with their blindfolds on will call you crazy. They'll call you a conspiracy theorist. They'll call you stupid. They'll tell you don't know what you're talking about. And it creates a lot of frustration. It creates a lot of frustration, especially when you start saying, look, I know I have proof. I am living proof that it works. You know how many people out there have watched my entire journey? And when I say watch my entire journey, there's a handful, maybe 5 or 10 people out there who have watched my entire journey from the time I crawled out from under a bridge to this very moment. There might even be one of them watching this live right now, and they still don't believe any fucking thing that I have to say. There's some people out there who you cannot convince because they're too afraid to see anything that exists other than the little reality that they've built for themselves or that they've been living in their entire life. They're too afraid. The sheer thought of a reality existing that goes against the reality they've been living in scares the shit out of them. So they will fight tooth and nail to defend it, you know? And the only thing that you can really do is release them and let them go, man. That's all you can do. All you can do. No, trust me. It's all you can do. Trust me. Trust me. And once you figure out how to do that, well, because that's a battle in and of itself. Once you figure out how to do that, it's like a huge weight off your chest too, you know? That's been, I think, those of us who are on the awakening path, that's been our latest struggle, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep, that's been our latest struggle. Our latest struggle. Because I always had this picture in my mind, and I had this idea in my mind, and to some degree it's worked, but to a huge degree it hasn't. That I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut until I have something to point to. You know? As soon as I can prove it, as soon as I can point to something and say, look, there's proof that what I said is real and that it works, then I'll get more people to wake up. You know what I mean? But if you're dealing with people who have already dedicated themselves to not listening to you, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Because you have to understand that like us, those of us who want to awaken, we want to know the truth. We actually are starving for the truth. There's a lot of people out there who are, matter of fact, are the exact opposite. They are not. They do not want to know the truth. It scares them. It scares them. So we assume that they're like us. We assume that they want to know the truth, that if there is some other kind of reality out there, we assume that they want in on it too, right? No, they don't. No, they don't. Then the quicker we can come to accept that, that's been my latest challenge, my latest struggle. It's like, don't you want to know? You have to want to know. No, they don't. Nope, they don't. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They like that amnesia. They like it. And anything that you say or do that challenges or breaks the walls of that amnesia, they will fight tooth and nail to defend it. Because they don't want to know. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is be a beacon of light and say, all right, well, I'm not going to go out there and chase and pursue anybody. I'm not going to try to convince anybody of anything. I'm going to just hold my light up in the air like this. And those people who are looking for it, who do have a deeper yearning to understand, how does this work? How does this operate? What is the truth then? I want in on it. Those people will see that light and they will come to you. They will. You'll attract them to you. The universe will bring you the people that you need, you know. They'll bring you the people that you need. Every last one of us, even myself, y'all, even me. I've been stuck in this trap of seeing people that desperately seem to really need help. You know, when you go pursuing them, trying desperately to help them understand, and they fight you. They fight you. And you're like, what the logical fuck is going on here? Like, it'll blow your mind. You're like, are you kidding me? It's sad. It's sad. But Naya. I always remember Naya. You all know I talk about Naya. I got a big, I only got like two or three playlists on my YouTube. And the biggest playlist that I have is all Naya videos, dude. But anyway, she always would help me, would rein it in and help me understand that they are creative gods just like you. Creator gods is what she called them. They're creator gods just like you, and they know what they're doing, and they know what they wanted to come here and experience. There's a lot of entities that came here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to experience the intensity of the 3D, third dimensional, low frequency game, to be in amnesia and completely forget the true nature of who they really are. And they're here for that. That's what they're here for. That's what they're here for. They enjoy it, you know? It's just like, damn, okay, all right. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. No, I do think, though, that on the other side, I was probably one of those entities that underestimated this game a little bit. You know, I underestimated it. And I think a lot of us did. You know, we saw the little goofy little Earth game and we thought, that ain't gonna work on me. I won't fall for that shit. Nah, forgetting that I'm this powerful. I will never forget the creator God that I am. I will never. And then we get in here and ooh, are we wrong? Ooh, are we wrong? This is a very, very intricately complex game that they've created. The third dimensional 3D human game. It's very, very complex and very well orchestrated, you know? But remembering that it's just a game is the part that can be a little bit tricky sometimes too, because like I said, we get caught up in the game. Even the things that I'm talking about, awakening and shifting, that's still within this game. Even fifth dimensional Earth, those of us who came here to help in the shift from the 3D to the 5D, and, you know, came to carry the weight of that process from shifting, that's still part of this game. That's still the dualistic game of time and space. Still the same game. It's just doing something different in the game, you know? Same thing. It's wild, man. It's wild. It is wild. But anyway though. Now, everybody says that. No. You have to think of it from the perspective of you and your friends going into the arcade. All right, or Dave and Buster's. We're going to go to Dave and Buster's. All right. Dude, nah, this happened to me in real life many times. How many times? For those of you who have done things like this. Oh, man, dude, there's virtual reality over there. You want to go play it? You want to go do it? You think it works? You think it seems realistic? I want to try it. Let's go try it and see. You know, and while you're in it, I'll play some virtual reality games that can scare the shit out of you. Like, you know, like, and it wasn't until I did my first little virtual reality game that it really started making a lot more sense. If you've never done a VR, like a real high quality VR game, if you've never done that before, do it, try it. I'm telling you, try it. It makes a lot more sense as to how this could all be an illusion. It makes a lot more sense. You have no idea how easy it is to just stick a mask over your face and make it look like you're somewhere else, and make it look like somebody's walking right up to you and you're trying to touch them and shit, you know, blow your mind. And then after I did that for my first time, I looked around and I was like, okay, I dig. Okay. All right. This makes more sense then. This makes more sense, you know? It's really hard to put into words. It's really hard to put into words. But no, you weren't out of your damn mind for choosing to play this game. It was just like, hey, let's go try to play this game. Let's go. And then by the time you leave here, it's just like, oh, that was fun. That was fun. You know, really intense. You know, most entities go, whoa, it worked. Whoa, that was cool. Let's do it again, you know? Because the shock, that contrast of getting lost in this game and then awakening up out of it. You know, there's a lot of like extreme entities out there who get addicted to that. And again, I'm using a lot of Naya phrases and things that she's helped me understand. It makes perfect sense too. How many videos you flip through the internet, you see people jumping out of hot air balloons and shit. You know what I mean? Jumping off of these skyscrapers with a parachute on. Those are the kind of entities that like to come here. Those are the adrenaline, extreme sports junkies, you know, that love the thrill of, you know. You very well may not have been out of your mind at all. Maybe that's what kind of entity you are. Maybe you just really enjoy the thrill of the illusion that you're lost in this game. And then you're waking up out of it and you're like, oh yeah, whoa, that was intense, man. Let's go do it again, you know? But if you're one of the entities like me, who only came here for one reason, you know, not to play the game. I don't particularly like this game. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of really, not very much in this game. Am I? It's so like no matter what, you're always uncomfortable in the game of duality. There's always an element of pain. There's always an element of frustration. There's always in the game of duality. It's just not really my gig. It's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. You know. Very uncomfortable, and that's just part of it. You can't get around that, you know? You can't get around that. So I'm not really a big fan of the game, you know, and there's a lot of people out there who think that, oh, okay, well, once I figure out the energies of this game and how they work, then I'll like this game better. No, you won't. Not really. Not really. Because you'll see that while you are in the game of duality, there's always an element of discomfort. There's always an element of the opposite end of the spectrum that has to be with you. You know, there's always two ends to every spectrum. There will be positive and negative side by side at all times, no matter what. No matter how happy you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter if you get married to your life partner and you have millions of dollars and your family's taken care of and all the things that we think would make this game enjoyable. And none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. There will always be an element of negativity. That has to. That's the only way this game can exist. It's the only way this game can exist, period. If there's not that other polarity, then the third dimensional game doesn't exist, you know? So now, as we're moving up out of, it's going to be very interesting to see how those two energies play off of each other in the fourth and fifth dimension, you know? That'll be very interesting. That'll be very interesting. That's what we're here doing. That's what we're here doing. It's unprecedented. It's never been done before. Never been done before. Never been done anywhere within this dualistic game. It's never been done. So it's going to be really, really cool and really interesting to see how it plays out. You know, regardless of if you're in this game or not. I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of beings watching us. Like, whoa, they gonna make it? It's gonna be cool. Let's watch. You know, we've got the whole damn galaxy watching us right now. Oh yeah, we got the whole damn solar system watching us. Like, whoa, man, are they gonna do it? They gonna get it? And here we're doing it, man. We're doing it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, though, no landing point with that. No landing point with that. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of like if you could imagine, and there's a lot of entities living vicariously through us too. You know that, right? That's a trippy, crazy thought. That's a crazy thought. And I've always kind of known that in the back of my mind to a weird degree as a kid. You know, that there's a lot of entities out there in different dimensions and on other planets and in other worlds living multifaceted lives who are living vicariously through us, watching it like a movie. That's a trippy thought. That's a trippy thought. You're not here alone, trust me. You are not here alone. Anyway, though. Anyway, let me get my candle going. Get my candle going. All right. Well, we went on some good tangents this morning, didn't we? We went on some good old tangents. I'm getting hungry, though. My belly's growling. That always happens, too, right? Right? And here, I'm going to be getting off here in a few minutes, but that always ends up happening. You know? Man, I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry. I'm sitting here like, oh, man, I still got 5 or 10 more minutes I could be on here. I'm getting hungry. It's going to be time here to wake everybody up here soon, too. But anyway, yep, I'm going to probably go ahead and get on out of here, y'all. I trust that we touched on some things that'll get some people thinking in a way that sets your day off so that you have a more positive experience. Like I said, when I do this, I kind of feel like this is my real job. I don't get paid for this channel. I don't get paid for any of the videos that go on this channel. You know, this is free. I don't get paid money for my real job. I get paid money for my earthly job, but not for my real job. My real job, as long as there's one person out of the 70, 80, whatever people who are watching this live or who watch the playback, who from the minute you watch this video, it changes the path of your entire day and you have a more positive experience that day and guide you in the direction of a path that's maybe less destructive than the path you were on. That's my job. That is my job. That's my real job. That's my real job. Anyway, though, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Greatly appreciate you for tuning in and listening to me blab and run my mouth. I'm sorry I haven't been too responsive to comments, but I do see every last one of you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'll see you later on doing something on my main channel today, all right? Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.